Hello, welcome to Revenue Search.
Unmarked Artato camera.
Oh, what's wrong with my camera?
You look like a Minecraft character.
Yeah, look absolutely fine on my screen. That's immensely disappointing. Oh, that's a shame. How are you? What are you drinking there? What have you got?
Well, I've had a Barocca today, and my ice has been Barocca stained. So yeah, I've just got more water.
I've got a
Handling with people over the last week.
I'm lemon sipping. Yeah, not very well.
Yeah, we both got Ebola or something like that now. So
I don't know if it's necessarily Ebola, but it is your fault because you put on an event.
did indeed, and yeah, it was good and had so much fun. Just yeah, I love being smothered with Subnet owners. It's probably not the best analogy, but it was great. It was absolutely amazing. So,
Absolutely
but
dreadful. Of my connections.
yeah,
I'm here.
so I saw something funny yesterday or the day before, and I think you may appreciate this. So you wrote a long little, War and Peace post on X yesterday, and someone said Mark's really good at using ChatGPT. Do you remember that? I feel like I'm just solo carrying the team here at the moment. Come on, Mark. We've got Greg sat there in the green room waiting for Mark Starlink to hurry the hell up. I'll give him 10 more seconds. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back now.
Hey, you're back. Cool. Anyway, what did you last hear?
You said that I'd written something.
Yes, and someone said Mark's really good at using ChatGPT, and you're quite hurt by that, and so what I did is because Mark is a wordsmith. He's always been good with words. I've known Mark for I don't know 15 years now, and you're better at words than most. So here is your article.
I'm still bruised. I'm still bruised by this.
So what I did is I copied and pasted all of this into the world's best text AI detector. And guess what? And this is its AI, this is Subnet 32, 90% confident it's human written. So I've even got a little certificate here for you. So you can frame that and put it on your wall that you are not AI using.
I'm absolutely not AI. Does it tell you which bit it thinks might be AI?
I don't know. Right at the bottom. Oh, you dirty GPT user. Was the last bit GPT?
Uh, well, I'll tell you exactly what happened with the last bit is I wrote what I really thought, and then you suggested that I toned it down a little bit.
Ah,
So I may have made that bit friendlier.
friendlier. Okay, fair enough. But anyway, yeah. And then turns out you can write. Anyway, we are chatting about shit here. Let's get on to the mission. And the mission is we have an awesome guest today. Someone who I very much respect in Bittensor, always have done. And we have Greg, which is Rizzo.
Here he is.
Right. Oh,
Good boys.
hey, it's me now.
Howdy, boys.
Thank you for joining us, Greg.
Drinking out of a vase there, Greg. What have you got? You just
I drink out of a vase.
hours out and just gone, this will do.
I power down the water.
Nice. We've got lots to talk about today. Because you are a busy man, you're doing lots. You've always done a lot for Bittensor. Like Rizzo is the validator I use predominantly, and you still run full infrastructure across everywhere, don't you?
Oh yeah,
You're one of the proper valleys out there.
one of the proper ones. That's right.
Nice.
The few.
And that's not cheap, is it?
No, it's quite expensive actually, but I think it's an important thing to do.
Amazing. So, where should we start? Should we talk about 45 Talisman to begin with? Because I honestly don't know much about it. I know what Talisman wallet is. I don't know what you're doing with the subnet. So, can you mansplain it to me in stickman English what you're doing with 45?
Sure. Yeah, I'm obviously very excited about Subnet 45. You think about the subnets and Bittensor over the years, and it used to be, the early days, it was like, I could change text into a picture and I'm going to make massive amounts of money, right? And that just doesn't hold water anymore. You have to do some really innovative stuff. It's scaled so fast. And so I think there's kind of at least today, the way I look at it, there's a secret sauce to subnets in my mind. Sure, it's debatable, but I think if I'm going to launch a subnet, I want a strong partnership. I think that's important for a good business use case. You have to really be doing something that matters, and it has to have a flywheel attached to that, and you have to do really good marketing. And if you can hit that secret sauce, you're probably going to do okay. And so that's just what we did with Talisman. It was kind of a no-brainer for us. I have a really good relationship with the CEO of Talisman. We've had a few meetings in the past about potentially putting a subnet together. And I basically just said, what are your plans with AI? And she said, we're going to do all this stuff. Just went off. And I said, Team Rizzo can build that. Maybe we should partner. Maybe we should pivot Subnet 45. And so it took us some time to talk through the mechanics of that, how that partnership deal would work, what the expectation is, et cetera, et cetera. But everything really aligned. We put pen to paper on a deal, and we, obviously recently announced the partnership and launch of the subnet. And so essentially what we're doing is we're taking, from a biased view, the greatest crypto wallet out there, and we are attaching AI technology onto it via Subnet 45. And so our team is in charge of basically bringing all of that AI tech into the wallet to give the wallet users kind of a competitive advantage over another wallet user in the ecosystem. And so today Talisman has, if I remember the stats, probably a little over 2 billion AUM. I think it was 155,000 plus active wallets. And so essentially what we're doing is making it the most intelligent wallet in Bittensor. And the way we're doing that today, which will, grow and advance over time, but the way we're doing that is our miners are essentially leveraging Subnet 64 to run a Quinn model, and then even leveraging Subnet 13 data universe to scrape data from X or Twitter. And then we're basically building this massive database to output signal to humans and agents. It's kind of the simple way to say it, if you will. And so what that looks like, kind of digging into, well, what does this look like from a wallet perspective, is in the beginning, we will share some of the sentiment data, right? The relevance, we're going to basically, miners are going to grab this data and they're going to assign relevance to it, category to it, sentiment analysis to it. Is this good? Is this bad? Is this FUD? Is this a partnership announcement? Is this, a promotion from a coal or a high, usage account, et cetera. And we're basically going to grade those and put all of that into this massive database. And then we will display that to the end user, but then we're also going to put agency in place so that the end user can do some really interesting stuff with that data in real time. And so to give you kind of a look like, we'll be implementing, your standard DCA strategies, swap strategies, et cetera, as kind of the basics. But then to get into the really interesting stuff, we're going to be implementing these triggers. And what's really cool about these triggers is that you can tell it things like, if Subnet 64 announces a partnership, invest 25% of my TAO. And when their, price goes up 30%, sell 50% of it. And the other really cool part about it is we're going to do all this through dictation as well. So you'll be tossing it to your wallet and you'll be telling it what you want it to do. And it will build out these trading strategies and execute them for you. So we're really excited about the potential of where this go. We're starting with X data, Twitter data, but we're going to be moving into a lot of other platforms as well, Discord, So I'll stop there for a moment. You tell me if you've got any questions. Otherwise, I'll just keep moving my job.
Okay, so just go back quickly. You said Talisman's got 2 billion in AUM. Are they counting that AUM as people's crypto within the wallet, the Talisman wallet?
Yeah, all of the crypto that they.
Okay, yeah. So is it, they can't control or touch any of it though?
No, they can't.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
And with Talisman AI, Subnet 45, we're starting in the world of DTAO with all of this great stuff. And we're kind of considering that our beta, if you will. And then that will spill over into all the other tokens to where they'll be able to leverage this technology for that as well.
Okay, so please correct me if I'm wrong. From what I gather, Talisman, proper company, is out there. Is it listed? Is it a PLC?
No.
No. Okay, but it's a big company. Your Subnet 45, Rizzo or Talisman, whatever, it is basically their outsourced AI factory. You're coming in, helping generate all the stuff, and you said output signal from agents to humans. So what that means is the Talisman wallet's user can literally just chat with their wallet and say, like you said, ridges and all that sort of stuff, or shoots, buy, sell, have a stop loss, take profits, all that sort of stuff with voice or tippy tappy with their thumbs. So
With their thumbs, that's
okay. So my first question, now that that's sort of is security. What, like, I'm really anal. I always need some sort of like Trezor or some fingerprint or something like, or like, how are you going to get past that? If someone wants to talk to it, how, and then like in 2 weeks' time a trigger happens, are they then required to, put a password in or what?
Yeah, I'm sure that most of that will be executed through smart contracts. And Talisman supports, they're going to launch their iOS in a few weeks, as well as Ledger support. So they're really covering all bases. And from a Subnet 45 perspective, our job is to build the tech, right? We give them a connection to the tech, and we handhold connecting it into their wallet. But they have their stuff locked down. I mean, they do a really, really good job with security.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand, like, if you give this set and forget command, take profit 30% when it hits X price, I guess you're then having to, put your password in or whatever. But then you're effectively keeping an open line between your wallet and Talisman. And the paranoid person in me just thinks, oh, wait a minute, someone can hack into that open command. I don't know.
So it's very similar to a way to think about it would be as if you used like a Uniswap or a Jupyter on Solana. You can set trades, limit trades, etc., and you're just locking that up in a I believe it's in a smart contract. And so you're locking those tokens up. You're not actively in control of those tokens after you've put that in place.
Okay, so it's not just going in, putting a hand into the wallet and going, okay, here's the bit. Okay, so you're locking it up when you do it. Okay, that's awesome. And voice, how is it going to get past like fake voice people? Well,
I don't know the answer. No, that's above my pay grade.
Okay, so what about? I know I'm probably jumping forward a little bit. How does this generate revenue for 45?
Yeah, so without getting into too much of the specifics of that, I can say that there's two key areas. One is that we have negotiated to receive revenue that is generated based on these tools that we are building. And also, Talisman makes revenue off of trading fees. And so we get a percentage of that as well for a buy and burn. So Talisman is in charge of that part of it. They get to decide when, so there's not some set schedule that ultimately gets gamed. People are pretty good at that. But nonetheless, on a monthly basis, they are doing a buy and burn with a percentage of all of the trading fees that they generate. And so that's the flywheel, right? That's the simplicity and the beauty of it, is that if you've got 150,000 plus users making trades every day, and a percentage of that is going to buy and burn the Subnet token, it kind of instills a little bit of confidence in investing in a Subnet, or Subnet 45 to be specific.
Nice. And is the buy and burn happening at that point, or is it like a lump sum every month? Or
I think that the way that we kind of negotiate it was they have to do it on a monthly basis, but they get to pick the when and the how much.
and why burn? Why not just DAT it? Why not just buy back and just put it in a digital alpha treasury of some sort?
So we left that open for the AI tech that we build that we'll receive revenue from, but the actual revenue percentage that we get from their trading fees is a buy and a burn, just to create that scarcity.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So,
So it's kind of an interesting model that I really like because it's just easy to grasp. You see what we're building, you see how people would want to leverage that.
Yeah.
And it's a great circle, right? The cooler stuff we build, the more users come on. The more users come on, the more revenue we make. So
And-
it's really easy one.
And the revenue share, is it just on detail type trades? Because surely they've got all this $2 billion. They're already making revenue from transactions. So is it just on the detail stuff?
Yes, down detail.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And based on, like, do you have any sort of projections that they must have a bunch of users already using Talisman to do all the detail type stuff? Is there do they have revenue numbers already, like volume / revenue numbers? Yeah,
I'm not allowed to share.
yeah, fully understandable.
Well, the numbers will be different as well, won't they? Because the amount of the fees that you can charge somebody for doing a simple transaction are different to the fees that you could charge somebody for doing a triggered transaction, i.e., following or copy trading a wallet, are different again to if you had got AI signal and somebody was effectively buying that signal. So there's much more profit, potentially much higher fees that you could levy on the stuff that you simply can't get on other wallets.
That's exactly right, Mark. Nailed it.
Yeah. Do you think it's possible that if you've got AI signal, you could not just charge a higher transaction fee, but you could take a share of any upside?
That's not a decision that we're going to get to make from the Subnet 45 side, but yeah, I'm sure that, they strategically assess all of that. I think that the goal for Talisman isn't necessarily simply revenue driven. I think that they're very passionate about what they're doing. They do a really good job and they're very thought when they implement things in their wallet. And so I think they're focused on building user base, and I think they're doing a great job with that.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I like the sound of this very, very much. I think that's going to be super exciting. I'll just be able to set my wallet to copy trade Siams, and then I haven't got to worry about doing anything.
I love it. That's exactly right.
It's going to save me so much time, and also about 1,000 other people quite a lot of time as well, I reckon.
Will you do copy trading then? Is that one of the features? You can just say copy this cold key address.
I don't have a specific on what and when they're going to implement. Our job is to really build out this signal, make it accessible in real time, and build out these different tools. So I would say, without a definitive yes, yeah, copy trading is probably a low-hanging fruit one to do.
Mentat minds, look out.
Yeah, I think copy trading is simple. The sentiment data that's
Oh yeah,
that's more difficult, isn't it? But potentially a lot more lucrative.
oh yeah. It's some really interesting IP. If you think about the different things that you might think of to say, if someone makes an announcement, buy their token, do this when this trigger hits, it's really cool. And it sounds really fun to kind of play with and see what you could do. We've seen some really interesting things where basic actions that happen will increase, almost guarantee an increase a token price by X% in that first 24 hours. And so when you start plotting all that, and putting it all together, it looks really interesting. And I think it's going to grow into something massive, and it's going to be some really great IP.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned on Revenue Search before that Shaq from Rubiz has built a database of all Bittensor information that he can query, and he's pretty confident that if he just sat in front of that database and asked it the right questions, he'd make 1,000 TAO a month just from the information there. And he said, look, I'm going to give you access. And the truth is, I think he's given me access because he knows I've got absolutely no idea how to use a database. And so I've made precisely 0 TAO from this, because from the moment that his call explaining how it worked, the moment that call ended, I haven't logged back in again. No idea. So my point here really is that it needs to be extraordinarily simple. The information is always out there for people. You can always gauge sentiment by trawling through X and trawling through Telegram and looking to see how much activity there's been, how many lines of code there has been. You can always look at all of those signals. It just takes a very, very, very long time. And it's complicated, and people don't know where to look or what weighting to apply to stuff. The simpler you make it for people, the easier it will be. Siam.
How intricate could you make your requests? Because, like, could you say, search for a subnet that has a positive net TAO inflow over a 5-day period, has X amount of volume, the liquidity pool is less than 2,000 TAO, and blah blah, and really stack up the criteria, and then just and then let it run. Because
My job here is to make sure everybody knows how amazing this is and make sure that they want to invest in this. And so I'm gonna nod my head yes to everything that you come up with, and then have to deal with my team after this meeting. So yes, of course, you're exactly right.
amazing. Well, Rizzo team, like, yeah, hook up those detail metrics.
Siam, are you just worried there's going to be like an AI CIO and you're going to be out of a job? Is that?
I'd happily be replaced. If this is what we're doing with Astrid. We're trying to get a financial algo that outbeats us.
I know.
Literally what we're doing. But yeah. But so the reason I love details, there's so many metrics, from which I don't think a lot of people look at, like Gini coefficient, HHI, net TAO inflow is obviously a good one. Just there's all sorts. And so yeah, if your team can start cooking, that'll be awesome.
Oh, they're cooking.
You know what? What I think what would be a really cool experiment is, once you're fully cooked and you present this lovely dish, souffle. That's what I was looking for. We should just like put a little side wallet with a bunch of money, and just let the Rizzo Talisman wallet just auto trade based on a whole bunch of different things, and just see how it does. See how much money we lose.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll contribute.
But yeah. So what was that, the bomb? So you're sort of teasing that you got like a bit of a mic drop moment. Is that the mic drop moment?
No. I mean, I think that's pretty darn exciting, and we're all very motivated about it. But that's not the proverbial bomb that I was alluding to. No. Let me move on.
Yeah, I'm strapping in, because Talisman looks cool. I'm already excited.
So yeah, let's get into it. I've been working very, very hard over the last few months trying to put something really big together for Bittensor. I see a challenge for subnet owners where they want to grow and expand their team and their operation. And in order to do so, typically they need to sell their subnet tokens to fund their operation. And that hurts them. That hurts their subnet. And then now, with the introduction of TAOFlow, it's like a double whammy to them, because now they're introducing sell pressure on themselves, and it's just compounded the issue for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody wants outside liquidity to come in. And as you guys have heard, Rizzo merged with DNA. And we have been working behind the scenes with DNA to do something really big to solve those challenges right there. And essentially what we're doing is we are launching a $300 million Bittensor community-driven DAT. And that's really exciting to me now. One of the higher ups in DNA came to me and he said, "Hey, let's do a Bittensor DAT." And for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure you all do, a DAT is a digital asset treasury. And so when I was approached with this DAT idea, I wasn't too excited at first. I was like, nah, other people kind of already on this, but let's focus on what we're doing here. And then the argument was, wait a minute, this is going to be community driven. This is going to help. I said, well, how's this going to help? And they said, well, what if we allowed the subnet owners to contribute their alpha tokens into the DAT and we give them dollar for dollar shares in the company that they can then go and have liquidity to expand their operation, and we'll sign a contract that locks up that detail for 3 to 5 years. And I said, okay, you have my attention. Let's do that. And so essentially what we're going to do is launch this Bittensor DAT, and we're going to be heavily focused on alpha tokens, on detail with this treasury. In order to do this successfully, you have to have a track record. Well, DNA just closed a $350 million DAT for Aether, another token out there. So that's pretty impressive. They've already shown they can do it. And, with my tenure in the Bittensor community and, the putting your best foot forward trust that we've gained, I figured we could make this work if I built a dream team. And so when I say I've been really busy the last few months, I've been soliciting an advisory team because I wanted this to really be community driven, and I wanted the voice from all of the major players. And where I can't bring in every major player, I wanted to focus on a lot of the OG teams and people within the ecosystem. So essentially, I went out and brought on as advisors. I've got obviously Team Rizzo, Roundtable 21, Subnet 8, Arash, Nickel 5, Bad English T, Keith, Bittensor Guru, Sam from Templar, Carl from Manifold, Michael White. I'm working on 3 more really big contributors that I can't talk about now because I don't have pen to paper on those deals yet. But really, we want to put this dream team, as I call it, together. Buy, spend.
Call it the Avengers.
Yeah, it's the Avengers, the Bittensor Avengers. So they'll help us advise on the spend of this DAT, right? Because quite frankly, we're not just going to go out and buy all the detail, out there. We're going to be very strategic about it, and we're going to make sure that we make good decisions. And the other thing that we're going to do that's in progress right now, it's actually almost done, is we're making a landing page for all of the subnets for this DAT. And we're going to share that with the subnet owners. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make these subnet owners help us with this raise. And so the way that'll work is if they know people that are interested in investing in the DAT, they can share their subnet link. And then if someone invests in the DAT through that subnet link, we'll buy that subnet token. So we're just trying to create ways to bring buy pressure to these subnets, to reduce sell pressure, and build a massive, massive treasury within it. The other important piece is that if you want to have a successful DAT, you should probably have a good operating business that's revenue generating within it. You don't just want the DAT, the treasury. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put the Rizzo validator, and we're going to put Subnet 20 and Subnet 45 inside this DAT as the operating business. And then we'll grow that with other ventures, mining, etc. And so it's a pretty audacious thing we're doing, but I'm really excited about it because we've got all the parts and pieces and resources.
Okay, I need to stickman this up. So you got Subnet A here. Subnet A has OPEX, has to sell some of their alpha. Normally they go through their liquidity pool, they dump it, and therefore their chart is down. That is basically one of the issues that you're trying to solve there. So what you're saying instead, let's just say they've got $100,000 worth of alpha they need to sell. So are you saying that they come to your DNA DAT, they swap $100,000 worth of their alpha, and in return, they get $100,000 worth of shares
that they
DNA.
sell on the market.
Okay, so and then they can go to what, like, is it a listed entity, the DNA fund?
It will be. It'll be on the NASDAQ.
On the NASDAQ. Okay, so they get the thingy, they go to the NASDAQ, and then dump. So, okay, cool. And then no restrictions on the dumpage.
No, there will be. It'll be a vesting schedule. We don't have specifics on it, but let's just say that we'll probably do something on the monthly over a year.
Okay, so this 100K alpha. So let's say it's Subnet A alpha. That's then locked up for how long?
3 to 5 years.
Okay, cool. So 3 to 5 year lock. Nice. And then what else? What am I missing here? Yeah. So the Avengers that you've got. What is their role in all of this?
Their role is to help us in a number of respective areas, but the primary is going to be to guide the spend of the treasury.
Guide the spend of the treasury. I thought it was locked. Oh, so are you then using this alpha to deploy into other stuff?
I think we're going to bring in around 50 million in alpha from Subnet owners.
Okay.
And then we'll go out and externally raise another couple $100 million that will then bring into the ecosystem.
Nice. This is so similar to 127's.
It really is. When I saw this guy doing that, I'm like, this is great. Like, this is what we need. We need people and vehicles like these bringing money into the ecosystem. I mean, I think the timing is just fantastic. And so I'm really excited to see how you guys do with 127 as well.
Yeah, and I'm if you can like lever up that balance sheet value and bring in hundreds of millions, I mean that's epic. So one thing you said, DNA is setting up what, a $300 million Bittensor DAT. So is that an aspirational target, 300 million, or like what are you seeding this DAT with?
Yeah, that's an aspirational target. That's what we realistically think that we can get to, based upon what we've done in the past.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So I guess for the Bittensor native people here, where 127, we're doing like a Subnet 73 meta hash type thing in terms of the liquidity sync, where you swap your alpha in and then you're then temporarily a miner and you get emitted that. With your case, you're basically just giving them shares, but which they can dump. So
yeah, and it also can act as a hedge. I mean, if you think about it, you have this public company, you've got hundreds of millions of dollars in TAO and DTAO, more heavily focused on the DTAO side probably. But then you have this operating business inside of it. And this operating business now has a significant portion of those tokens staked to the Rizzo validator. We're going to probably share that as well. It won't just be all Rizzo, by the way. People who operate legitimate validators should get a piece of that as well. But then we have our subnets as well, and whatever else we do. So, it's kind of it's almost like a hedge. These stocks might come out at X dollars, let's say $10, and they might shoot up to 20, 30. And so while you're waiting for your monthly unlock, you might be doing really, really well while you're still making alpha tokens with your subnet.
Nice. And DNA Fund is not worried about shareholder dilution, or have you just literally created a new share class and then you're capping the amount that you can give out?
I don't think that they're worried about it, because as long as there's a good ratio of money that comes in, external money raised, right? So if we're going to bring in 50 million in Subnet tokens, you better bring in a lot more than that external.
And so okay, let's just say fast forward a few months or whatever, you got, let's just easy numbers, 100 million in alpha, just sat there in your lovely DAT. It's growing. You're getting the APY yield, which is amazing. What you said, you're going to sweat the equity. So how are you going to sweat that? Are you can you use that alpha to trade, or like how? Yeah, what are you doing with that?
Well, right now we're trying to just build out a massive treasury. I don't think that we have any immediate plans to spend on that.
Nice. And this affiliate link thing. So if, let's say, Joe Blogs is over here and they are friends with a subnet owner, let's just say subnet owner Bravo. This person recommends subnet owner Bravo what to put alpha, like lock up their alpha, like subnet A did.
No, we want the subnet owners to say, hey, there's this amazing community-driven Bittensor DAT that's launching, and I think that you should invest in it because it makes sense. They have a really good model and a proven track record, and basically direct them to their landing page to invest in the DAT. And then when they do invest in the DAT, we will in turn, as a thank you, buy their subnet tokens and give them additional buy pressure.
Got it. So they're talking to friends and family, etc. Invest in this DAT, and then there'll be buy pressure on subnet Bravo over here. Okay. So
That's right.
Oh, wait a minute. So random people can invest into this DAT as well.
That's exactly right. DNA has a deal desk, dnadealdesk.com. That's where we're building these landing pages. And I think, if I remember correctly, we're going to have a minimum investment of like $5,000, something really, really nominal.
Yeah.
And if you're in the US, you're going to have to KYC. You'll have to go through that, piece of it. But if you're outside the US, you don't have to deal with that.
And what does that investor get? So they put $5,000 into the DAT. What do they get in return? Shares of the parity. So, sorry, Greg, what was that?
Shares in the DAT, in the public company.
So shares in DNA up here, or shares in the DAT? Which one?
In the DAT. It's not a DNA DAT, just for clarity. DNA and Team Rizzo are putting this together. It will be its own public entity. So they would be investing in that public entity.
Oh, so okay. So this will be the NASDAQ-listed thing.
Correct.
Okay. So so not up here. So actually the share, well, not shareholder dilution, but let's just put this. These shares actually come from the DAT, not from the separate DNA fund. Is it Chris Miglino?
Correct. Miglino.
Okay, cool. Okay, I get it now. Mark, sorry, I'm hogging the airwaves now.
There you are. So how to get started? When does it start off with 50 million in the DAT?
The way we're going to start, if you will, is in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to start reaching out to subnet owners and having some individual conversations to see who wants to contribute. I've already spoken to about a half a dozen, and I think I got verbal commitments of almost $20 million.
To commit what? To commit some of their alpha?
Correct. For us to lock up.
That's amazing.
20 million from half a dozen subnets. Wow.
Yep. I've been busy.
There you go.
So they're committing 20 million of their subnet alpha for you to lock up, and in exchange, they're going to have NASDAQ-listed shares. Yeah.
That's correct. That then they can hold on to, or they can sell.
Okay, so then where does the next bit of capital come from for another subnet to sell you their shares? Just comes from dilution of the NASDAQ shares.
I didn't follow your question.
I'm not sure I did. Don't worry. I'm just trying to work out where the capital comes from.
So we're going to go raise capital. We're going to get help from the subnet owners to bring in external capital. And we're going to leverage DNA resources to bring in, hopefully, a significant amount of external capital.
Okay, and then you're going to use that capital to buy Subnet Alpha. So any subnet is going to be able to swap their alpha into the DAT for NASDAQ listed shares.
So the way I'm looking at this is two different ways. Number one is, I think it's important to get at least a small amount of all of the Subnets alpha tokens, just because we're going to put them in the validator and collect APY. But when I sit in a meeting with, our Avengers, as as you guys put it, that's where we're going to assess these and say, is this investable? Does this make sense to take investor dollars and put them into this subnet? And so we'll have our own metrics and grading criteria that we come up with. Those are meetings that have not occurred yet. I'm still finalizing the team. So to kind of go back, we're going to invest in subnets that are investable. We're going to raise external funds. We're going to leverage help from the subnet owners, and we are going to ask the subnet owners to contribute some of their alpha into the DAT. And then it's up to us to decide, after they've said how much they want to contribute, how much we want to take in order to give them shares in the DAT that they can use to give themselves liquidity without nuking their own subnets.
Okay. So if the Avengers are all aligned and they all think that the subnet's a good idea, then that subnet can use the DAT for liquidity.
Nailed it.
And if half of the Avengers think it's a good idea and half of them don't, we might take it in at a discounted rate?
Well, yeah, but I don't know what that looks like yet. So I don't want to speak toward what that might be. I think those are going to be some interesting conversations too.
There's a lot of interesting conversations around all of this.
Oh yeah. And so you asked next steps. We're gonna be pinging all the subnet owners saying, do you understand? Do you like it? How can we help? And then from there, we're gonna go grab that external capital. The DAT launches. Sky's the limit.
Ooh, when launch?
I don't know exactly when that's going to be because that's out of my hands. Meaning the SEC has to approve it. We just went through a government shutdown. Like, I don't know what there's that backlog or what exactly that looks like. If I were to take out my Walmart crystal ball and guess, I would say March.
Ooh, March. Okay, sweet. Just a theoretical question, just because I like mapping stuff out. Let's just say in theory, you got 20 million, in fact, ignore subnet A, let's just say all subnets. You got, and let's say it's $20 million worth of subnet alpha going in, like you said, which means $20 million worth of DAT shares are being issued. That means there's a total of $20 million worth of your DNA shares of potential sell side. You mentioned that there could be some sort of vesting release with those shares, but so at the moment there's only sell side. So where is that counterbalance? Where is the 20 million worth of potential buy pressure going to come from?
I think that just comes from the other side of the investment, right? So the external money we bring in and the general operating business is going to instill confidence in the actual company itself to be investable.
So would there be like VC and institutional money as well that you're going to try and rally up to go in there?
That's the idea.
Okay, so yeah, the majority would be, let's say 20 million or I don't know, 19 million worth at least of VC institutional money, and then maybe retail crowd is 1 million or yeah. Okay, cool. And how are you going to incentivize, retail market to go, hey, invest in this DAT? Like what, because the question is the question here will be, why not just buy TAO myself? Why not just buy Subnets myself? All of these questions. How would you counter those questions?
Yeah. So, I had an interesting conversation. I was talking to the Kraken team, and they said, whoever gets a 9-figure DAT on the table first is going to be the DAT, the DAT. And I agree with that. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And I think that in itself is going to instill the confidence. To answer your question about, why wouldn't I just go buy TAO? Well, that's kind of the idea of bringing in, bringing a DAT, a treasury, getting a public company. Is there's a lot of people with a lot of money out there that don't play in crypto land, and they want exposure, but they don't want to go and figure out how to do crypto wallets and all of that stuff. So what do? They have this indirect vehicle now where they can invest in Bittensor through this public company.
Cool. And I guess there's a question here that's popped up by 888. Says, how would you receive the shares in the stock market company? I guess people that invest will have to set up like a Charles Schwab account of some sort.
Yeah, and that's exactly right.
Got it.
I wonder what the tax treatment is on that.
I guess it depends if you're
who you are, where you are.
Where you are,
Always who you
what
are.
price you're selling at, what price you got it for,
Yeah.
how long you've held it.
Yeah. So I can see how this works from that perspective. From a subnet perspective, if they're swapping alpha, it's not necessarily, I mean, Siam's got OPEX written there on the Stickman piece, but it's not necessarily going to help them out with that month's OPEX, is it?
Maybe not today, but if you look at it and you say, wow, I'm holding on to, $1.2 million worth of alpha. I don't really plan on selling it. Why don't I put it into this DAT? They're going to lock it for 3 to 5 years. And then when this launches every month, I've got $100,000 worth of liquidity that I don't have to bother my subnet with.
Yeah. So in a way, it's a bet that the NASDAQ-listed DAT is going to outperform your own alpha.
You could look at it that way.
Yeah. And for the Subnet owners, they're basically saving having to dump their own alpha to save their chart, which then also helps their TAO net inflow, so they don't enter this negative spiral.
That's exactly right. And I think it's also worth mentioning that the contract with the subnet owners will still allow them to retain their voting rights of their tokens. We're not going to keep taking subnets over or anything like that.
Cool. Well,
Awesome.
thanks for sharing this with us. We're excited, and we are, I'm sure, going to be talking about this fairly regularly because we're going to have to compare notes. Because what are we doing? Are we doing like a race to first to 100 million wins of the eyes? Is that, can we do that as a thing? Do we need milestone?
If the leader down 10 shots.
10 shots. You always default to next level. Well, that's exciting. And anything like this, we are massive fans of. Anything that's providing liquidity into subnets, that's bringing external capital into the ecosystem, has our full support. Anything we can do, any advice that we can give you, any of our experience that we can share. Obviously, you've got quite a team there with plenty of it, but anything we can add to the party, we would be happy to do so. We don't see anything like this as a competitor to anything that we do. It's all complementary. Everyone's pulling in the same direction. So if we can get a hand on the rope and pull along with you, then we will gladly do so.
No, that's awesome. I will send you guys the investment papers.
Even if we're identical, I actually do hope that you dick all over us, because it just means you're bringing more money into TAO.
He doesn't mean that, Greg. He doesn't mean that. He's very competitive. He does not mean that for a second.
I do, honestly. Like, people are like the question that we had for ages is like, oh, what do you think about Still Core Capital, the Mark's new hedge fund? I'm like, I hope they're bigger than us. I hope they make more ROI than us, and I hope they can, bring more money into TAO than us. Because it
I
just,
love those guys and I love what they're doing. So I agree with you there 100%.
so Subnet Gem, let's go through the questions. So we have one question here. I'll stop sharing my screen now. What's the plan for Subnet 20?
I was kind of hoping that wouldn't come up. I'll go back to, I'll disclose a little bit here. I'll go back to secret sauce, right? Of a successful subnet. We've been working for quite some time in putting together a really interesting partnership. And the idea with Subnet 20, we had success in the model and the Kaggle.com style competition when we got our number 1 8 billion parameter model. So we decided to just launch a Kaggle competitor to really just build a fund up to reward excellence in making a number 1 model for the 2 competitions that we have listed there. So it's kind of a placeholder right now until next time. But that's the plan. Is we're probably going to pivot, but we like what we're doing right now, and we like putting challenges out there for people.
Nice. We have Bat Tech says, please use us at dynamictaomarketcap.com. I've just opened up on the other screen. It looks pretty cool. Never seen it before. So yes, nice one. Next question is whether people.
What was that? Dynamic
marketcap.com. It looks pretty sweet.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I've never seen it till today. That's pretty cool. Then we've got
Sometimes domains are too short, aren't they? I like a nice long domain.
I don't know what he's meaning here. Too big a middleman. Where does the revenue come from?
I don't either, but I will say that the revenue will come from the operating business. So mining, validation, to subnets. We're putting those assets into the DAT as the operating business, as I stated earlier.
And his follow-up question was, APY can't out-sustain sell pressure. Ridge confirms this.
Ridges.
Yeah.
I think that they needed the context of the conversation at that moment.
Fair enough. There's a good
point.
Yeah. And then his other question was, in before dereg dat would be interesting for degenning. Whether people, I please use more words with your questions. I'm struggling to understand your question, to be fair. But however, Vatak has come back and said that's another lockup mechanism for TAO, benefiting the entire ecosystem. Agreed.
True story. On ecosystem, Greg, what's your view on the transition to TAOFlow?
It's a loaded question. I don't really like it today. I think it's going to kill a lot of subnets. I get how it makes sense to a lot of people, but I think it's going to ultimately drop a lot of subnets, and maybe that's the point. But yeah, I don't want to get it too much into that. I'll just say that it's a tough new game everybody's got to play, and you better keep your marketing going.
Yeah, I can't get not the oxymoron, for lack of a better word. Like, but from my perspective, I see that Bittensor is here to really help incubate and innovate. The real big challenges out there for AI and whatnot. And so you have a lot of these research subnets which are going to potentially smash OpenAI in the face. Like if you look at Templar with distributed pre-training, etc. At some point, Sam is going to be punching OpenAI in that respect. But that's in like 18 months time, 2 years, etc. So there's no like revenue model there per se, and we've got other research stuff. So net TAO inflow technically hurts the research subnets, doesn't it?
I think research subnets are going to be punished the most. I think if I had a research subnet, I would be trying to get really creative, kind of going back to traditional starting the business, fundraising, and essentially using that fundraising to apply buy pressure to my subnet.
Which takes your eye off the research ball, because you're having to like compartmentalize brain glucose into raising money or selling something, shoehorning in a suboptimal product maybe.
I mean, people can get creative. We've seen it quite a bit. You can, if you find the right investors, you can say, hey, look, I'll give you X% of owner emissions for X amount of time, for X amount of dollars. I'm going to use those dollars to buy my own tokens. Use of proceeds is, I believe in what I'm doing, so that's why I'm doing it. There's different ways to do it, but because of the requirement to apply constant buy pressure, if you're a research subnet, or you're a ways away from an end product, you better start getting real creative real quick.
Minecraft Mark is back. Whilst we're waiting for Mark and his Starlink, Eliusis says, what percent? I think I've asked this already. You don't know the percentage that will go into 45 yet, do you?
Well, I know the percentage, but I'm not allowed to disclose that.
Got it. Yeah, that has the answer.
It's a 2-digit number. Does that satisfy?
Right. Then Ace 888 said, could you drop a marketing subnet into the DAT? This would give another incentive for the subnets to invest, especially if they receive some preference from the marketing company in the DAT. So I think he's trying to say, could you do a value add to entice subnets to lock up their alpha?
It's not a bad idea.
Well, it's not a bad idea.
We talked about that morning. It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Nice. So, Greg, are there any questions that we should have asked that we haven't?
What about new subnets that don't have a bunch of alpha to contribute to the DApp, but they want to get into it?
That's a great question.
Yeah, you're better at this than we are.
Yeah, so we're playing with some ideas. We might be able to do something like I was alluding to a moment ago, where maybe we would grab a percentage of alpha tokens, owner emissions for a period of time, to help give them some liquidity. That's some ideas. Everything's going to be a case-by-case basis, due to the sheer diversity and nature of subnets themselves. So I think that's why it was so important for me to bring in the Avenger team, as you call it, because there's a lot to consider, and we're doing some really big things here, and so we need the proper support.
That's cool. So a brand new team, not much in the owner wallet, etc. You would take, I don't know, let's just say 25% owner key emissions for a certain period of time, and as those emissions come in, you're equally giving them your DAT shares that they can then sell for. Okay. Yeah, let's call that. Yeah, case by case basis, of course. And sorry, I have forgotten. What decisions will the Avengers make?
They're going to guide the spend. So, if we can bring in a couple $100 million of external investment,
yeah,
are we buying all that TAO and DTAO on day one? No. What?
But I thought that
Alpha.
Isn't the DAT just going to be full of alpha though?
No. It will have. We'll raise this money and we'll have cash in the bank, ultimately to buy the alpha tokens and the TAO.
Got it. Okay.
But how much TAO should we get? How much DTAO should we get? From which subnets? Over what period of time?
Nice.
How do we determine who's investable? How do we speculate? Should we speculate? So all of that is kind of the fun conversations that we get to have
Yeah, I mean, good luck trying to get a consensus from 10 Tau Avengers. Sometimes me and Siam struggle to agree.
Yeah, European Union is a very good case sample or study of leading by committee. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so I'll keep you guys updated, and I appreciate any support you can give.
Whatever we can help with. That's what we're here for.
Amazing. I love this. This is cool. And the
And
answer,
the other thing that I think is worth mentioning too is that because we're going to put Subnet 20 and 45 assets into the DAT, that just means that we're not going to be selling any owner tokens. And I think that's important to note.
yeah, there's no sell side your end. Cool.
It's one more reason to invest in our subnets. Let me just plug that real quick. Okay.
Well, I'm all questioned out. I don't know about you, Mark.
No, that is, I was just having a quick look to see if, yep, just having a quick look at those two subnets to see what's happened while you've been talking there. Always an interesting mystery. It's a mystery to anyone what's going to happen to any subnets connected with a revenue search. On this occasion, Subnet 20 seems to have done okay out of it. I don't know what you said, but it's worked.
Really? That's what I
Yeah.
like to hear.
For some reason, Subnet 20 is pumping, yet people are selling 45. I honestly don't understand I don't understand detail sometimes.
No. Sometimes people need to sit down with 9 of their close friends and work out what actions they should take when it a complicated world of detail. Cool. Well, that's been fantastic.
I really appreciate you guys having me on and taking the time with me.
Zion looks absolutely confuddled.
Yeah, no, this is great. Love it.
Has been great. Yeah, keep us posted. Let us know how we can help. Best of luck with the launch. We will raise you to 100 million, and we'll see you there.
You know it.
Amazing.
Cheers, Greg.
Cheerio, folks.